First off, show let's do
What
it.
power grab is that?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, real big power grab here. Let's make sure that I did this whole thing for 2 years to make sure that I could take over on Sunday, the day before.
You didn't think that through, did you?
Yeah, what a bad plan that was. All right, we got to make sure we can get quorum though, so we're going to do a roll call, see who's here, and that'll be what quorum is. So go ahead, Charles.
Moment bit, señor.
All right, un momento.
Don't talk to me like that.
First off, is anybody, if you know of anybody that's not here though, like if we start calling out names and you know they're gone, just let us know.
Yeah, that's an important point.
Yeah, that's a very important point. If you know they're gone, let us know. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's one right here. Stephen Akers.
Okay, well, he's going to do the name one at a time. Put the location of where they're from too when you say it. Can you do that? Can you like do their name and location, like what region they're in? All right, never mind. We'll have to do it. Well, I think we know the names of the Miami people.
All right, Mr. Scott Allen.
Scott Allen is not here.
Okay. So, Mr. Allen, you're a bad person. All right. Adele Blackman.
Are you here?
Adele
Blackman.
That was present, yes?
Yes.
Gregory Bowen.
Yes.
Charles Brayton, yes. James Burke.
Markowitz, he ain't here.
Philippe Carret.
Yep.
Tony Casso.
Castle's not here.
Okay. Brian Cole.
Brian Cole, is Brian Cole here?
Have they left?
Yeah, Tony Castle is forward.
There's a difference between not being here and having checked out.
Yeah, he's not coming.
All right, give me just a second, because I have to update this thing, everything, time that happens. Actually, I can do that after the fact. William Kopp.
Is Cop still here? He's here.
Okay, fantastic. And, Brian Kraft. Richie Creamer.
Here.
Danny Cummings. Chris. Yeah. Oh, Brian Kraft is here, okay, thank you. Danny Cummings. Christopher Dillard. Don Drelos.
She is here, she just had to step and get her water.
All right. Proxy sign-in. Yeah, we'll take it. Stephen Evans. Here. Richard Enright. Robert Enright. Sorry. Stephanie Fabian.
Here.
Fabian, maybe I'm not sure. Robert Fernandez.
He's gone. That's Miami.
Okay. Allison Foxall.
Not here. Ann hasn't been checking all the time.
I'm better.
Oh, you did? Oh, she was here.
Yeah. She was here at least a minute.
My bad.
Philip Garris. Is it Ed Larry? I can't.
He's checking out. He's still here.
Okay.
Is he going to be here for the business meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Amanda Gluck. George Gorglione.
He's out.
Yeah, him and Joe Tate probably both. Because, you know, why tell the secretary? Screw that guy. Lauren? Go ahead.
Larry, go.
Eric Raffoni's here. Michael Hamlin? Go ahead, I'll let you go.
Michael Hamlin, he's here. Christine Hanlon.
Here.
Vincent Hanna. Sally Hayes.
Here.
Gabe Higgins. Gabe Higgins. Michael Higgs. Jeffrey Hindmarsh. Chuck House. Here. Lynn House.
Here.
Joseph Jacobs.
Here.
Yeah, he's not here. He hasn't been here the whole time.
James Jensen.
Here.
Pamela Jensen.
Here.
Jared Jones.
Here.
Patrick Kerr.
Absent.
Vicky Kirkland.
Here.
Joshua Kaninsky. He's
Here.
here. Thank you. Dave Levitt.
Here.
George Leibowitz.
I'm here.
James Leggett.
Here.
Sylvia Leggett.
Here.
Bert. Bert Lipcomb.
He's here, he went to go check out.
Sure he did.
Robert Locke. Robert Locke. Marcos Marrero.
Here.
Elsa Martinez.
Here.
Charles McBreedy.
Here.
Amy Meek. Donald Menzel.
Here.
Ken Minton. Marcos Morales. Miami. Richard Molnick.
He left last night.
You left last night, yeah.
Pull up a chair, sit down. It's actually cool because like sitting here with Dad, I expected you can actually hear everybody talking better with Dad.
Anna Morris. James Morris. Here. Joel Mountain. Here. Stephen Nicali. Carolina Ozenberg.
She's here, but just not here.
Oh, Kelly, she's here.
She'll be for the business.
She'll be here, she got my computer.
Kevin O'Neill. James Ray. James Ray's here?
He's here.
Nice.
Ah, there he is.
Thomas Wright. Not here. Nick Rizzo. Gregory Rowe. Ron Rollins.
Here.
Omar.
Here.
Richard Paulus.
He's not here, nor is Bev.
No, he's in St. Pete.
Has he checked out and
He's
left the?
all the way.
They're
around.
Yeah, he checked out. He said he's not gonna be here today.
Okay, hold on.
Blaine Pederick.
Had to leave.
Oh, had to leave.
Okay. This is fun. Doing this is fun.
Bethany Powers.
Here.
Sammy. Sammy Salem. Oh, Sammy's not here. Robert Savoya.
Saviola.
Saviola. Robert Saviola. Robert Saviola. All right. Matt Shakenberg.
Here.
Karen Schoen's not here.
Stacy.
Hola.
Stacy.
Yes?
Anthony Sellers.
Here.
Denise Smith. Sharon Smith. I'm here.
You're here? Okay.
Gone.
Patricia Snicker.
Here.
All right. Thanks for being here, Mom. Yeah, you got any problems with me about how I act? Blame her. Obviously, she didn't do enough beating me when I was a kid. Beverly Stevens. Beverly Steven. Martin Sullivan.
Here.
Deanna.
Here.
Why Deanna's on there twice? I don't know.
Twice, that's bad.
You can just delete that
That
one.
one's done. Danny, secretary.
David Taylor. Oh, you have to undo what you just did.
No, it's okay, I'll take care of that.
John Luke.
Here.
Joe Tay.
Oh, he's gone. I'm not sure he was ever here.
Kevin Thompson.
Here.
Crystal Turner. Christopher Vasquez. Joanne Vaccarino.
Here.
Mike Vaccarino. Edward Wagner. Edward Wagner. All right. Larry Wall.
He left.
Oh, he left. He's gone, so.
So was fundraiser.
Dean Watson. Tracy Wells. Joseph Wint.
Here.
Ken Willie.
Here.
Bill Wolsifer.
Here.
Beatrix Wood.
Here.
Russ Wood.
Here.
Matt Worley.
Physically, maybe not mentally.
Matt Wright. Matt Wright's not here.
Matt's not here.
He left out. And Adrian Wiley.
He's not here either.
Now, this is where we go back and have all the ones that aren't a yes to ask them to see if anybody knows if they're here or not, right?
We can do that, we'll probably have to.
I think we got quorum.
Give me a second, I'll know for sure. Don't go crazy if we don't. How many, I don't know yet, I'll know. That's right. No, we don't, quorum is just
Oh, Rick, hey, Rick, by the way, Richard Molnick's here.
Richard Malik is here?
No, we have Molnick.
I didn't hear my name, did you call it?
Suzanne Gilmore, did we name her? Did we say her name?
Hold on.
Well, let me ask that question first. Other than Suzanne Gilmore, was there anybody named that you didn't hear called?
We got you.
I have her, we got her listed.
We got you listed as yes for some reason. We knew by osmosis you were here.
Okay. I'm oozing.
You know, that didn't come out right. Did it?
No, it didn't at all.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way.
Molnick, you said?
Yeah, Richard Molnick.
Mullet.
How's it spelled?
M-O-L-E-K.
Thank you. That's
Been saying it wrong for 5 years.
Stop adding letters, Alex.
Hey, you know what? I'll add what I want.
Don't tell me what to do.
Needs to be a 2/3 vote to add a letter.
Can I buy a vowel?
That doesn't sound like
We're getting there. No. Next time I'm gonna write an app. There's hard, there's gotta be an app.
Sounds like you just volunteered.
Well, I just knocked around.
Where are we at?
Oh, hang on. If this was Excel, I'd be done. We're at 62 of 93. That's quorum.
All right. All right, quorum has been determined.
We need to be half, so that'd be.
First thing is, I did talk to the Rules Committee. There was somebody had brought up, or not a suggestion, but somebody brought up a concern over bylaw motion number 4 from the Rules Committee. And I found out, after speaking with Mr. Wiley, that we, what's the word that you used?
We withdrew, the Rules Committee withdrew the motion with unanimous consent of the Rules Committee.
The Rules Committee withdrew the motion with consent from the Rules Committee, and the reason why is, it didn't need to be changed because the membership thing didn't change. Is that the oath still stands, and we didn't have to go to principle after that. At this time, all the business is done, and now we are accepting motions from the floor. I know we got a couple that are already in, so let me go ahead and start grabbing those to read now.
They're in order, number order, but you need to, number one first.
Number 1 first? Okay. All right, the first one is from Vicky Kirkland.
Oh, she withdrew that, I'm sorry.
The first one's not from Vicky Kirkland. The second one is from Joseph Wint, a moment of silence for a founder of the Libertarian Party of Florida and longtime activist John Wayne Smith, who died last year. He was treasurer of the Lake County affiliate, and without his help, Lake would not exist. Seconded has been done by Ken Minton and Michael Hamlin, so it is now open for discussion. Stand to be recognized. Question has been called. All those in favor of calling the question, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right. Now, if you accept the motion, everybody that accepts the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those that are opposed, say nay. All right. Any abstentions? All right. Now, just out of curiosity, Joseph, because you were the one that made the motion, you had a moment of silence. I do not know the actual definition or time frame for a moment. Are you looking for like a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes? Yeah. 2 minutes? All right, motion passes. So we will now be quiet for 2 minutes in recognition of John Wayne Smith. All right. Oh,
There's an app for that.
there's an app for that. All right. I will say this, those are the new John Wayne Smith. I don't think he'd been happy with a moment of silence for him. I think we should have been doing something else, but that's not the way the motion read. All right, so the next one is number 3. Charles McBreedy. All right. This is a platform, this is a move to amend the platform. Move to amend platform 1.4 to read. Just to make sure, Charles, the stuff that's underlined is the stuff that you're adding, correct? Okay. So if everybody gets to the platform, just because I want to make sure everybody's following along here. So it's moved to amend platform 1.4 to read the following. We support equality under the law and condemn any law that either rewards or punishes any individual based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender, and then this is the added part, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other group identification. Each person has the same inalienable rights to live their lives as they see fit in pursuit of happiness. It is the duty of the state to protect those rights for each individual equally. We condemn any and all legislation intended to target and discriminate against specific communities. Do I have a second? Second. All right. The floor is open for discussion. Please stand to be recognized.
Say your name again, sir.
John Luke.
Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah, you can. Somebody stand up at this point.
I feel this update is the necessary update to set us apart from the major parties and to remind people where this party has only stood since its inception. We need to show that we will not stand for the kind of shenanigans they were trying to pull in Tallahassee, such as the bathroom bill that would have put a bounty on transgender people just trying to pee, and made business owners liable to the point that they would have had to ask for birth certificates at the bathroom door or not have public restrooms at all. There was also an effort to do things like roll back the rules on gay couples adopting children to like the 1970s draconian levels. And all these bills passed committee after committee, and they only failed ultimately because of the legislature's illegal decision to take their ball and go home early with the budget. So I think we need to show the people of Florida that we're different from the parties in power, that we stand and have always stood on the right side of history, and we need to show people that when we say liberty, we truly mean liberty for all. Don't tread on anyone. I'm open to friendly amendments if you don't like my wording.
The next person that I saw was Omar, so Omar, go ahead.
I only have one, well, not a concern, but I'm just thinking, there was one word that stood out, and that was we condemn any legislation. We want to use condemn, because I like a strong word, and anyone can propose maybe a different terminology.
Are you proposing a friendly amendment to change the word condemn?
Yeah.
What would you change it to?
Propose.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Now, I can't accept friendly amendments, right? That's still got to get voted on.
No. We need a second.
We got, so he's making that, you're gonna change condemn to oppose, do we have a second? Elsa, I saw Elsa's hand on the second one. Okay, so oppose. All right, so now the motion on the floor is for the amendment to change condemn to oppose. Stand to be recognized for any discussion on the matter.
All you would have to do is ask the man that originally presented the motion if he would accept it as a friendly amendment, and we don't have to vote on it.
He was telling me that I couldn't do that.
Point of order, it would have to be withdrawn by the mover and the seconder, removed, reseconded as amended.
Correct.
Amended in order for that.
We're playing by the hard rules today.
Yeah. That's procedural, guys, sorry.
Let's just vote on it. Okay, just call the question for Pete's sake.
Well, hang on a second. I do potentially have an amendment, but first we need to get through the process of the original amendment.
Yeah.
Does the mover withdraw the original to repropose as essentially a friendly amendment, which is illegal under Robert's rules?
So I should be withdrawn.
Well,
Okay.
I have a question. You might ask McBreedy if he's also willing to do that first.
Yeah.
I'm open to his friendly amendment.
Okay, all right.
All right, so-
So you withdraw and remove?
Yes.
Okay, then there should be a second.
Okay, withdraw, the
With
seconder,
the word change to opposed.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you, okay, now, do you accept the Charles McBrady as the friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Technically, you both withdraw, and then you're gonna remove
And
with the
resecond.
Yeah.
different wording.
And John Luke, you're the seconder on it, do you consider it a friendly amendment?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we've crossed all the Ts and dotted all.
All right, so now change the wording, now the wording is changed now from condemn to oppose. Stand and be recognized,
Now,
Mr. Wiley.
I have an actual amendment to propose to this. I fully support adding both gender identity and sexual orientation, but I do believe the balance of the motion is a bit redundant. I think at the point, I don't, personally, I don't like the idea of adding too much to the platform. It should be succinct and all that, but I do 100% agree with adding gender identity and sexual orientation. So my amendment would be to simply add those two words to, I believe it's the first sentence of the motion, which would just encompass those as specifically identified individuals as opposed to just being included with other group identification.
I second that.
All right, hold on,
So the reading-
so the motion on the, so what you're putting a motion forward is that the only thing that would change within the platform would be gender identity, sexual orientation. Everything else that is on the slate right now to be amended would be removed, and we're not changing anything else other than 4 words.
Yeah, because I think the fact that each person has the same inalienable rights, and it is the state's duty to protect these rights for each individual equally, covers all that.
Okay,
So,
all right,
that is
and the
my
second, it was Greg Bowen was the second? All right, this is on the floor, just so, I'm gonna explain it again so everybody has a full understanding of this. What Adrian is putting forward is that we're only going to change 4 words: gender identity, sexual orientation. They're gonna be added. Nothing else would change. So all the other stuff that Charles is adding to this would be stricken. We're not gonna do all of that stuff. Just the 4 words. The floor is now open for discussion. Stand to be recognized.
Could you read it? Could you read what it is?
Oh, I will read exactly how it would go then. Okay. We support equality under the law and condemn any law that either rewards or punishes any individual.
And oppose.
Yeah.
Oh, we changed oppose in 2 places.
Yeah, and my amendment would include the word oppose as opposed to condemn.
Just gotta make it difficult for me, huh, you bunch of... All right. We support equality under the law. How can you change it if condemn is already there, though?
No, because we're changing that word, that's part of the change that we're.
That he removed with oppose as opposed to condemn.
Okay.
On the original,
All
on
right,
the.
here we go. We support equality under the law and oppose any law that either rewards or punishes any individual based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other group identification. I'm going to the wording here to make sure I got that right. Each person has the same inalienable rights. It is the state's duty to protect those rights for each individual equally. That would be how it would be read. That's what your motion is, right? Okay. It's now open for discussion. Please stand to be recognized. There's some people standing before. Ken was before Bill. So Ken, go ahead. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're second.
I'll give it to Kim. That's
Go ahead, Ken.
I basically agree completely with what Adrian said. Looking at the other points in that section, they don't add on the wording about opposing legislation. And I know Lynn House is famous for copying and pasting these little bullets when people have a question and showing the exact wording. And I agree that we should keep this as few words as possible while getting across the point that this is our platform. So I agree, and I will vote for Adrian's amendment.
Okay, thank you. Greg Bowen. Then Bill.
Just to reiterate, Adrian and Ken, I don't think that we should make that many changes to this. adding gender identity and sexual orientation, changing condemn to oppose. I think that's really all we need to do today at this point. If we want to go further, then it should go through the platform committee and maybe happen next year at convention to make a bigger change. But for today, I think that really covers what we want to accomplish and gets the change that we need on the platform.
Thank you very much. Bill Wolsifer.
Thank you, Alice. I'm just unclear what part of Charles's amendment is being excluded.
I'll read it again to you.
No, I know what's being added. But from what Charles, his original.
The words that is being taken out with Adrian's motion
Right.
is to live their lives as they see fit in pursuit of happiness, and the duty of the state, and then we condemn any and all legislation intended to target and discriminate against specific communities. The reason for that is that Adrian made the claim that it was redundant.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really thought you were going to talk longer than that, man. Suzanne Gilmore.
Okay, friendly amendment suggestion, on the last sentence there, it says it is the state's duty to protect, it should be state apostrophe S.
Yeah.
Just a grammatical.
Yeah,
Okay,
that,
we take care of that.
we can go ahead and put that in, but under our bylaws, we can make grammatical changes and punctuation changes without a motion. So it should be noted that change should also be made, but no motion is required.
Can you note that, Charlie? All right, it's been noted. Adele.
I may be in the minority here, but I think it ought to stay as it's written, because it very plainly says any other group. And when we start adding these things, we're gonna lose a lot of people that this party can get in, because a lot of people do have problems with adding rights for certain people. And I see that as adding special rights that I no longer have, and other people would feel the same way. It's very plain that any person shouldn't be discriminated, and it should be left as that, I think.
Okay, thank you, Adele. Anybody else? We'll go Sally first.
Just to-
Ladies first, Dick, sorry.
Just to address that very point, the motion is supporting equality under the law. Right? It's equality under the law as far as these people are concerned, not that they're going to be given special rights.
Okay, next one, Dick Kramer. You're recognized, sir.
I'm going to stand in opposition to any change to this. I'm a firm believer, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. To me, if you start adding additional groups other than any other group identification, somebody else is going to come along next year and say, well, what about polka dotted people? Or what about people in wheelchairs? You know, sooner or later, it's going to get so many different groups that we no longer need to have any other group identification. So it ain't broken, folks, don't fix it.
Okay, another, William Copps, and then Grafoni. I'm sorry, you guys were, I'm sorry. Go ahead. William next, and then Jared.
I just want to say that I do support this bill. The only reason why we even go and describe race, ethnicity, or any of these kind of positions is that there's been laws written to specifically target and discriminate against these people. And therefore, because we are fighting against that, and because there are laws written, that is why you have to define these things. Yes, there could be polka dot people, there could be other kinds of people that pop up in life if they decide to discriminate against us. But as long as it's not happening, we have nothing really to discuss because they're already on the equal playing field. But once laws are starting to be written against these groups, that's why we go and we fight against that, because that is the challenge made to those people.
All right.
So that's why I'm in support of it.
All right. Jared Grafoni, and then. Jared Grafoni, you have the floor.
Yeah, actually, William stated it very clearly, actually, what I was going to state. I mean, the issue of whether or not we add different groups at different times, we could deal with that at an upcoming convention or through the platform committee. We have a very real, clear and present danger for members of these communities who are contributing members of our party, people that we support, people who we consider friends, and to not add this in at this time, I just don't see a reason why we would need to exclude it. If we have issues with polka dotted people, we can talk about that at the next convention, so I support the amendment.
All right. Kevin, yeah, that's what it is.
Actually, I support opening this up, just adding these two additional words and modifying oppose versus condemn. But I really think, looking at the Florida Constitution, just on my mobile phone, so it's not great study here on this target. But I think it's really, it's section 27, marriage defined as part of our Constitution. Obviously, it says it's a union of only one man and one woman. So, you know, if you look at this from a little higher level, I think more importantly, this party's gonna need to make it at some point, not maybe, probably not today, but sometime next year maybe, a position on whether we want a state involved in religious services like marriages and so forth, defining for the people what their religious practices or their personal beliefs are in this area. So I think that's, you know, just for my perspective, this is just an incremental step in that direction. I think we can get away from, you know, this entire section once we make a decision on that. You know, namely, putting a stake in the ground, but where we stand with the state defining for us what's, you know, religious practice and personal preferences are. I think that's more important than what, you know, where we're pointed toward already.
All right. Now,
Point of information.
go ahead.
The marriage ban was overturned by the court.
Okay. One thing, I want to make sure that you are understanding right now. Right now, we are voting on the amendment. We are not voting on the main motion. We are voting on the amendment. So we have to get that through, then we vote on the main motion. So with that being said, stand be recognized, go ahead.
I'm Karen from Hillsborough County. If it looks like we're looking at the EEOC guidelines, then we're going to have to put in there people of physical ability, age, disability. I mean, the list can go on and on. National origin. So that's why I would say, like, you know, where does it end?
Yeah. All right. Again, we are on the main we are not on the main motion. We are on the amendment right now. Go ahead.
And I don't know if this would be particularly relevant, but to your point, one state I know has 14 different criteria for discrimination. So state and federal can be different. Federal has 7. Some states have, well, they can have less, but they can have more. I guess my question is, does this change anything? Where it reads now, are we going to do anything different? Are we always now protecting people's rights, no matter who they are? So it's fine if you want to change it, because the spirit of it is great. I have no qualms with that, but I'm just saying, you can get mired down in language sometimes, but does it change the way you conduct yourself anyways?
All right. Still on the amendment.
So on the amendment, I think that it stands out on a platform. If you're an activist and you're handing out a piece of something to get someone involved with the LPF, and they're very hot on this issue, if it says that we support LGBT in our platform, that it really speaks to them on a personal level, that they could stand behind us because we simply mentioned their name.
Guys make me have to be the chair. I can't comment on nothing. All right, all right, thank you, Steve. The question's called. All right, thank you. All right, so we are now voting on the amendment, not on the main motion. And the way that what we're voting on is this. We support equality under the law.
We're stopping discussion on the amendment.
We're stopping discussion on the amendment. Okay, this is the vote on the call to question. For all those in favor of stopping the discussion on calling the question on the amendment, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Is anybody abstaining for Pete's sake? All right, that carries. All right, so now we're going to vote. So all those in favor of accepting the amendment that Adrian had put forward, that does we support equality under the law and oppose any law that either rewards or punishes any individual based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other group identification. Each person has the same inalienable rights. It is, I got to go back to this part. It is the state's duty to protect those rights for each individual equally. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Nay. Okay, let's do a roll call. Or no, let's do it by standing up. All those that are in favor of the amendment, please stand up. And since I'm the chair, since I'm acting chair right now, can you guys do the count? Everybody stand up that says yes. On the amendment, it's yes on the amendment.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I'm not standing up, I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh, actually, you can't vote yet anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it down.
Count me, I don't know what to stand for.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You just got here. Are you standing? Yes. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33, 34, 35, 37, 39, 42.
It's gonna pass.
It passed, right?
Yeah, we got 51.
51, yeah, and 31's half.
Yeah.
All right, the motion carried. We are now back on the amendment carried. We're now back on the main motion. I will read it again so everyone has a full understanding as to what we're voting on. And then we'll open up the floor for questions. For discussion. We support equality under the law and oppose any law that either rewards or punishes any individual based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other group identification. Each person has the same inalienable rights. It is the state's duty to protect those rights for each individual equally. I will now open the floor up for discussion. Stand to be recognized.
Mr. Chair, Tony Sellers, Miami Dade. I stand in support of this motion, and I particularly am pleased by the change of word from condemn to oppose, because it calls for action on the part of this party that is necessary as these bills are being brought forward, as Charles has described. Thank you.
Any other? We'll pause for that. Go ahead. Call the questions is moved. Somebody second that.
Second.
All right, we are now voting to call the question. All those in favor of stopping debate so we can vote on this, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? All right, we are now voting. This is the final vote. Well, for this one. I'm going to read it again so everybody has a full understanding as to what we're voting on.
Have that last.
I will say this, if you come up right now and say, what are we voting on, after I just read this, you will be considered violation of the NAP, and I will throw you off the balcony. I'm just saying. And that will be equality under the law, because I've already told you. All right, here we go. We support equality under the law and oppose any law that either rewards or punishes any individual based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other group identification. Each person has the same inalienable rights. It is the state's duty to protect those rights for each individual equally. All those in favor, please stand.
I think we can say that passes.
Count them.
I think that's a clear.
Just count. Let's make
It's
sure.
2/3 for a platform change.
It's 2/3 for.
It's 2/3 for a platform change.
What's the count? What's the count?
Oh, I got 53, so we're good. They passed. It needed 42, I got 53.
All right, it needed two-thirds in order to pass, and it got more than 2/3 and it passes. Omar, go ahead.
What is the quorum, and we're trying to figure out how many people are here
No,
now.
the numbers are right there, man.
I'm going to give you that answer, but just let me give you this answer first off. Mr. Chair, I move to seat the delegates that have arrived after the start of the meeting. And that would be Dana Cummings and Brian Cole.
And Crystal Turner.
Oh, and Crystal Turner, okay.
Second.
All right, all those in, yeah.
Dave Higgins?
All right, is there anybody else that was not here earlier that walked in that needs to make sure that they're announced as a delegate? Stand up.
Who else here? Okay, I have those three now.
Okay. All right, so are we going to, somebody said.
We have a move and second on
Okay.
seating the three.
All those in favor of seating the delegates, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? All right, you're in. And David will be able to talk about stuff, and I'll still do the chair stuff up here.
I just literally woke
Like
up
I don't get punished enough.
after like a 6-week awake spree.
We'll go with that. Now, you asked for quorum, let Charles explain it to you.
All right. The quorum is calculated this way. We have 93 credential delegates at the convention. Those present are 65. He need to reach half that to make quorum. We've reached that half. So quorum is done. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, explain your little board up there, Carl.
Carl?
Come on, nobody got the Karl Rove reference to the whiteboard? You people, come on now. Hey, you know what? That was a good reference, by the way. Order in the hall.
It was a good one, Mr. Acting Madam Chair.
I give you that one. I give you that one.
I need an eraser, man.
Here's a
We don't
napkin.
need this damn board. That's the total number of people, and that's one half of them, 2/3 and 3/4 once I get it updated.
All right, good to go. All right, next motion, Charles.
Sir. Oh, did I? Well, I don't like that. You might have Jared read that for you.
All right, Jared, your phony. I know this one.
Okay.
You know, I'm surprised you're a lawyer, Jared, because you write like a doctor. All right, motion put forward by Jared Grifoni to amend the bylaws, Article 4, Section 3A. Everybody get to your program for Article 4, Section 3A?
Bylaws, Article 4, Section 3.
Jared, this is the change, right? So this replaces from where? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, as Alex mentioned, Article 4, Section 3A of the bylaws, we're talking about the first sentence. The change begins after the word delegate. The second sentence of the Section A does not change at all, so it's just the second half of the first sentence, so I'll read the change. I'll read the whole thing as I proposed. Delegates shall be members as prescribed in Article 2 of the Constitution on the day of commencement of the annual business meeting. And a delegate, and here begins the change, must be a registered Libertarian Party of Florida voter in the state of Florida, or have submitted a new voter registration or party change form to become a valid registered Libertarian Party of Florida voter to the Secretary of the LPF prior to the start of the annual business meeting. So that's the proposed change. The remaining part of the section would stay the same.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Adrian had this, I saw his hand first, and that's just the way it is. All right, there's been seconded, so it is now open for discussion. Please stand, first I'll let Jared speak to the motion, and then we'll go to JJ first.
The reason why I proposed this motion, I've been talking about this for quite a while at the prior conventions and in our group discussions. The reason for it is we want to attract new members to this party. We want people to be able to participate. One amazing selling point of this party is our conventions, where we have great speakers, we frequently have excellent discussions, and to allow someone to come in and say, hey, you want to be a part of this, they can do that. We're not going to change or add people after the start of the meeting, but right now, you need to be you can sign the pledge the day of, but for some reason you need to be a registered Libertarian 2 months prior to the start of the convention. Some people may not get adequate notice. Some may have notice. We had that discussion yesterday. But the reality is that the 60-day notice is completely, or 60-day requirement is completely arbitrary. At a prior convention, we removed the 60-day requirement on the pledge. So we should remove the 60-day requirement on voter registration as well. I know a frequent criticism is that we may face a horde of people who just show up on the day of to manipulate the party. But I mean, if someone's going to do that, you can do it on the 61st day right now. So I mean, I think the criticism rings hollow. We want to expand the party. We want to make it easier for people to be participants, and I think this is a good way of doing that.
All right. I'm going to go to JJ first because I said that and I don't want to back off what I said. And then we're going to go to Charles because I wanted Charles to give historical background on this. So JJ first.
Okay, JJ Jensen of Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. I rise in opposition to this. Sometimes I think we try to make it too easy. When people come here and want to be a part of the party, well, the first thing they're going to do is change their voter registration. So I don't see any need to have to do this.
All right, now, I want Charles to stand up because I do want historical context on how things have worked in the past, just so people have an understanding of it.
I mean, what has happened is, and I know this happened to me, I found out about the Libertarian Party, I thought it was interesting, I want to get involved, and...
Well, that's not really what I wanted you to go.
Well, I'm going to go there, because it's going to explain the whole thing. And so I showed up, and the rule was read, and I had registered 57 days ago. And Carl Dickey, being the awesome man he is, made the motion to waive that, and I found out later at that point, everybody went, yeah, just like all the times before. Apparently, that's what happens all the time, is every year, there's some poor sucker, like I was, who didn't cross that T and dot that I, and yet, and I was elected to at-large one. I suspect that turned out pretty well. You guys, but that's exactly the situation that we run into every single year, and what we have to do is either waive that or turn them away in a very public way at that point. And I suspect if you turn them out, they're gone.
All right.
Now, may I rise?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do want to know that that makes the job of the secretary a little bit harder, because theoretically, I'm supposed to validate those people as having their voter registration changed. If you do it 2 days before that, the state doesn't know yet. So if I look on the system, it'll say whatever you were ahead of time. So we might have to institute an affidavit or something like that, but I, as the sitting secretary, would be perfectly willing to do that.
All right, I got a question for you, Charles.
Oh.
And I think maybe people are going to ask this question, but I want to ask you this question. Are you going to be able to validate someone if they just showed up through a system that would not be an affidavit? Would you be able to either go to the website, or would they have their voter registration card? Would you be able to do that right then and there on the spot?
Well, if you have your card, I can do that.
But if they didn't have their card, would you still be able to validate them?
It all depends on how fast the state updates their database. They're not by the moment. It's usually about at least a 20-day lag. It can be a 45. It depends. It's kind of ridiculous, but each SOE submits to the state sort of when they do.
Can you go to their county and look this up, though?
Mr. Chair, I do have a solution to that.
Go ahead.
As a third-party registrar for the state of Florida, we can actually on-site have them fill out a voter registration form. We are authorized to do this by the state of Florida. So what we would do is we would have them fill out that form, and we would be responsible for submitting it. If they submitted one 2 days ago, their SOE will get a redundant, but they will treat it as the same. So the end result will be, they will be registered as a Libertarian at the point that we receive it.
Okay. Any other? Please stand.
We just got through talking about not excluding people for various reasons. And now we're talking about one of those very people come to us because they have no recourse, and they've had all these problems, and then they get to us 57 days, and we say, no, you can't even join us now. And we're there supposed to fight for them in that way. So I don't understand why, on one hand, we talk about carefully not excluding people, but on the other hand, people who legitimately come to us will say, if you don't make that arbitrary timeline, 60 days, because why is it 60 days? Why not 30? Why not 90? If you don't make that arbitrary deadline date, you can join us.
All right. Go ahead, JJ.
If I may, this is all fine, well and good, but however, it is waivable. Apparently, Charles was able to come in prior to 60 days. So it isn't, it's just, it is waivable. It's just, it should be a case-by-case
I'll get you.
basis.
Yeah, go ahead.
My response to that is, under what criteria? Waivable for whom? So one person you waive, the next person you don't. you articulate a reason why one person may get another person.
All right, hold on, one of you, hold on. You gotta speak, you're speaking to me, you're already speaking to me.
Pardon me, what is the criteria that you need to establish that makes one person waivable and not another person non-waivable?
Well,
That's
hold
the
on,
sentence I'm
hold on, look, because I'm not giving an opinion, I am responding to this, so I can give a response to this. When that thing is waived, it's waived for everybody at that moment, it wasn't waived, it's not waived for an individual, it's waived for everyone for that year.
So then what's the point of this?
Well, that's probably why Jared's doing it, but that's a whole different thing. Let me get to some different people first. I'll go to Lynn, then I'll go there, because I found out something well, I'll wait till Lynn goes first, and then I find out something.
Well, it's true that we've been asked to waive those requirements during the course of the convention. Often the conventions refuse to grant that waiver. I distinctly remember Alexander George asking for a waiver at the Orlando convention several years ago, and the delegation denied him because he didn't meet the criteria. So just because it's been asked doesn't mean it's been granted. I'm opposed to this because I'm one of the people who fears a horde coming in. Because I've seen it done. I've seen it done on the national level when Ron Paul was elected to be the presidential nominee. It was because he entered a whole bunch of people on the last day that swayed the balance of power in the delegation and put him over the top. So it is possible, it has been done, and I fear having that done now, and that's one of the reasons that I oppose this. I think that 60 days means that the delegates would have to have been prepared prior to that, but we only give 30-day notice, excuse me, of the proposed changes to our Constitution and bylaws. So they couldn't possibly act in time to change things if we give proper notice and if they're not allowed to join the delegates prior to then.
Okay. Now, one thing, and I know there's going to be other people that speak to this, so we're going to get to everybody. I have found out that it is the chair's discretion if you want to allow attendees that are not delegates to speak at the convention. So I am now going to exercise as the chair right now. Please speak, sir.
Thank you. Jack Hayes from Alachua County, I guess. Although we haven't got a, what do they call it?
Affiliate.
Yet. I am speaking to this motion because I am maybe a rare entity in this thing. But what happens to someone like me who's been a member of the Libertarian Party in various places in the world since 1975, who applies to come to this convention and find out that I can't become a delegate here because I haven't registered to vote in Florida, which is a state requirement. But I'm a duly experienced, dues-paid member of this party and have been for, you figure out the number of years, and have taken the oath more times than you can imagine, and find that I'm essentially not welcome at this particular convention because I haven't fulfilled some state obligation that's required in order for me to vote, which has nothing to do with me as a member of this party. So, is there a solution? I think there is. I mean, I think, can't you put an or in there? I mean, if you're a member in good standing of this party and have been for more than 60 days, have been for 30 years, why wouldn't you be allowed to be a delegate?
Very good question. Very good question. Let's keep going. Jared Grafoni?
Yeah, just in response to a couple of the points made, I mean, this is just another example of, some libertarians being more equal than others. Time and time again, we have these same discussions. We had this similar discussion yesterday regarding the changing the membership definition in the Constitution. We have good libertarians out there. There's nothing to suggest that a libertarian who registers on the 59th day is any less qualified than a libertarian who registers on the 60th day. It's arbitrary, it's ridiculous, and it's fear-mongering, really. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And to suggest that somehow, because Ron Paul did it in 1988, which I think probably 90% of the people in this audience were informed about libertarian principles or emboldened in their principles because of what Ron Paul did in '88 and over the last 2 decades and his service in Congress. Well, we don't agree with everything he says or that he has done. He has been a shining light for liberty for the most part. And to suggest that somehow that happened in 1988, Ron Paul into the party, which has brought so many more people into the party over the last 2 decades, is a reason why we need to exclude people, is ridiculous. We have less than 100 delegates here, and even less today. 65 right now from the entire state of Florida. If someone wanted to take over this convention, you could do it in the snap of your fingers. You could do it on your street by just recruiting some people. Hey, let's go in there and change the Libertarian Party. Okay, we have very specific principles. All right, if we want to take over the party, you can take over the party. If you want to bring people into the party and make it grow and make it become stronger, get people elected, which I think is the purpose of a political party, this is a great way to do it. We attract new people. You see it, do press releases. Hey, the Libertarian Convention's in town. I've wanted to join the party, or I joined the party, but I haven't had a chance to register to vote yet. I can go down there, do it today, and then contribute just as much as somebody else. We're about equality, we're about liberty, we're about the non-aggression principle. We're not about 60 days, 50 days, or 10 days.
All right.
Question?
Seconded.
Oh, there's a lot of people with their hands raised. Okay. The question was, I have to go through this motion real quick. The question has been called. It has been seconded. All those that are in favor of stopping discussion to vote on it, please say aye.
Aye.
All those that are opposed to that, please say nay.
Nay.
I would argue that the nays have that one, but I can do a roll call vote if anybody's going to challenge me. All right. Discussion continues. You guys jumped the gun because you weren't looking behind you. Let's go Matt Worley, then we'll go Sally. And then we'll keep going back. I'm sorry. We'll keep Matt and
All
Sally.
right, Matt Worley, Lake County. Look, it seems to me that we keep going with the same rules and everything that the two big parties do. The question is, do we want to be third choice on the same bandwagon, or do we actually want to be a viable choice? Are we going to keep the duopoly and just add to it, or are we going to do something different for a change? It's time to include people and actually try to change what goes on, not only in Washington and Tallahassee, but on the local level. The only way to do that is to allow people to switch over and become involved and not put up big barricades for people that are honestly wanting to change not only our party, but the country.
Okay. Sally?
Just a
And then Brian, and then Charles.
I just need a clarification here. Are you
And then
basically
you.
saying, because I was trying to listen to the words, but I didn't get the meaning of your motion. Are you saying that we remove the 60-day as far as registering with the state and making it that you can be, as long as you're a member, as long as you've joined and signed the oath, you're automatically a member and can be part of the delegate at a convention or whatever? Is that basically what you're saying?
Can I respond?
Jared, please respond.
The way the motion reads is that it would still require you to be a registered libertarian voter in the state of Florida and have signed the pledge. There's just no time frame. In the past, we had a 60-day time frame on the pledge as well. That was eliminated, and this would eliminate the 60-day requirement of voter registration. So you'd still have to be a registered Libertarian Party voter in Florida and a signed member. But you could do that yesterday. You could have done that prior to the start of the annual business meeting.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we're trying to get the 5%, and if we're gonna say somebody who's did 55 days ago, and then they just made the 60-day requirement, you say, sorry, you can't do anything, that's not gonna help us reach the 5% that we're trying to get to by next year to gain major party tax.
All right, next one was Charles. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I wanted to point something out, and I don't know if people realize this, but we elected people to the EC yesterday who are in this room right now and are not allowed to vote because they've only been a Libertarian for, say, 59 days. But we elected them to the EC. So tomorrow they're going to be an EC member, but if we had our convention tomorrow, they still wouldn't be able to vote. It's ridiculous.
He's not lying. All right, Ken Willie. Ken Willie. Know why you want to talk so much, Ken?
I'm not completely convinced on how I'm going to vote for this, but I do like to look at all sides of the argument. And one thing that I'm thinking about is that what we do here is we look at the direction of the party for the next year and beyond. And everybody here is invested in this party. We've been members, we've been registered to vote, we've donated money. These are the people that need to determine the direction of the party. And I do have to agree with Lynn that you could possibly have people come in at the last minute and be able to change the direction. And so I do tend to think that perhaps we should have some kind of gate to stop the barbarian hordes. But you know, in my time in the military, I always took the time, the effort, no matter where I was at. I went back to my home supervisor of elections office to make sure I got my absentee ballot. And I think that we need to have to make an effort to participate. So that's my opinion, and honestly, I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to vote. But
Okay.
that's a point that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, good to go. Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
This 5%, is that membership in the party, or is that registered voters? Could you clarify that?
Okay, the question has been asked, because people have been talking about 5%. What does that mean, whether it's registered voters or member of the party? That is registered voters. That is not considered what would be technically members of the party. We are talking about two separate things, so that is the difference. Does that answer your question, JJ?
Thank you.
Okay, now, back to questions. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm looking at, if everybody wants to talk, raise your hand. Okay. Okay, it's John Luke, then Adele, then Brian, then Menzel, then, you, Miss, right? Dawn, then Greg, then Crystal, then William, then Jim Leggett. And then Charles to end it off. There you go. Start with John Luke.
If we let anyone from the street come into the delegation and they can vote on members of the EC, how are they going to know how they're going to shift the paradigm of the party if they don't know what they stand for or what they believe or have a personal relationship with that person on even the most basic level? That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, next. Adele?
Adele from Pinellas County. I was going to be against this, and then I thought back. I became a Libertarian December 19th last year. I don't remember the date, but January 17th, I think, I became the treasurer of the Pinellas County Party. So for me to vote, to keep the dates, I think would be like, I would be a bad person. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I'm thinking, how can I sit here and think I'm against it when I had the benefit of a party that let me write in to do something? So I just wanted to say that.
Actually, it was the other way around. You got to remember my order.
You remember your order.
I don't remember it. Go
If I
ahead.
can make it brief, I just want to speak in support of it because I see it as a matter of expediency. I think instead of worrying so much about these specific time frames that are based on paranoia and whatever, I don't agree with that. I think we need to see immediacy in what we're doing as a group, and we don't need to put speed bumps in front of people who decide that they want to be a part of it. So I don't see any point in the 60 days, and I want to mention what he talked about. When I first started reading Ron Paul's books and wanted to get involved in his campaign, and I went and joined the Republican Party, I was told, because I was a Democrat less than a year before that I couldn't participate. And that really, this stinks of that situation. And I don't think we should be like them as far as I go.
Menzel? Oh, round of applause. Menzel?
Donald Menzel, Seminole County. My knee-jerk reaction is that I wouldn't agree with it. I originally would oppose it for the same reasons that, Lynn brought up. We're fairly new affiliate, and I'm sure my affiliate can attest to my fears and being taken over, but in sitting with this, having the time of hearing the discussion, you know what, I think that would be an opportunity if they were to come in and try to take us over, whoever they may be, for an affiliate standpoint. I would see that as a good way to promote. My fear originally would have said, hey, you know what, this is a bad idea, but in principle, I agree with it, and hopefully it passes.
Okay. Now, who's next? Will. Yeah, you were next, I think. Oh, Cops was actually next, but you ladies first, of course.
I absolutely respect Lynn's opinion and everybody else who has a different opinion on this. And I spoke with Lynn yesterday, and I'll share with everybody what I told Lynn. I was one of those people who these deadlines affected at one point. I have been working, I have 2 cases on federal court level where a man's been beat within an inch of his life because the officer responded to him for a healthcare call, and when he wouldn't respond, they beat him. There's a kid who was in juvenile detention who committed suicide when they locked him up in solitary confinement. I'm emotional about these cases, and I can tell you other stories that knock you to your knees. There are people that are sitting in courtrooms right now who have their clothes together held by pins because they can't afford to pay for a trial. So the prosecutor gives them a choice of, here, take this plea deal where you're going to go to prison and have a felony, or you can take the mandatory sentence, which do you like? I was doing that work well before I became involved in this group here. I'm one of those people that you're talking about that you fear. And I'm out there every day promoting the platform of this great organization, the people. A few stinkers may get in, but like this man said, that is our opportunity to convince them about the worth of this organization. And I don't feel that we're going to be overrun by zealots who are so against us. And I have confidence there are enough people in this room, because I've seen the voting, quite honestly, that they can overcome that. So I would say to you, please reconsider when you're going to place these arbitrary timelines in place, if you really believe there's a reason to do it. If you do, then vote your conscience. That's all I have to say.
All right. I'll get to you again. William Cops.
I just want to say, my opinion is that I oppose to this concept. I believe there's many ways that you can contribute to the Libertarian Party. This does not deny you access to being able to help a local affiliate, to talk about the party. All this does is keep you from changing an entire state platform system right off the bat. And then everybody in this room was supposed to be held accountable to that 60-day wait anyways. And if you had joined earlier, before a convention, you would have been participating. So it's not a case of some libertarians are better than others or have more privilege than others. It's a case of we all had our time to wait to be able to do it. We were a part of it before. What's the problem of you waiting to next year to be able to vote on an EC level? And it doesn't even mean that you can't discuss. As you already demonstrated, you can have people that are part of the party that are allowed to speak on the issues by volunteer of the chair on what we vote on, so that people that are voting can actually be influenced by what you have to say.
Okay. Michael. Then Greg.
I was going to thought that part of being a libertarian is protecting the rights of those that you may not have yourself. That's just what I was going to say. Because if you didn't have the right yourself, part of being a libertarian is trying to make sure others have that right and grant others that right.
Greg, then back there. And then Sean.
Greg Bowen, Pinellas County Delegation. I oppose the requirement of voter registration to be a delegate here in the first place. So the time limit on it, I oppose as well. And there are people in this room who are delegates who could potentially be convicted of a felony within the next year, will lose their voting rights, will no longer be a registered voting libertarian, and will not be able to be a delegate next year because of that. Now, the other thing is this has been used selectively to exclude people, as Lynn in her example said. You know, for Alexander George, the delegation voted not to include him. But in other years, the delegation has voted to waive this and allow people in. So if we're going to treat this rule as, you know, it's important this year but not important that year, what's the point of having it anyway? I oppose the entire language about requiring voter registration, even at 60 days. So I would support changing the length requirement on this, and I would support actually changing the requirement of voter registration completely.
All right. I do want to speak about some historical aspect on that, because Lynn House did mention Alexander George, and that it wasn't specifically geared towards Alexander George that year. That had to do, and I was one of the people that was excluded that year, so I can speak to this. That had to do with the people that were switching over to do with the Ron Paul campaign. I supported their decision and what they did at the time. Again, I'm not speaking in favor or opposition to this right now, but they made a decision, and I respected the thing on there. I didn't have to sit in the meeting all day, thank God. All the way in the back, Joshua.
Joshua Kneznik, Hillsborough County. I just wanted to enlighten you guys that went to Adam Kokesh's speech. Don't operate out of fear. If you want to bring people into this party, start loving one another.
Crystal Turner.
Good morning-ish. I just wanted to say that yesterday, whenever we broke up into our groups of our different regions, there was only 2 of us from Region 4, which encompassed my lovely people from Alachua County, and I was nominated and elected to represent you guys, so please don't leave without talking to me. But I was represented as a delegate, as your voice, and I think it's important to notice that at the convention, not just anyone can come in as an attendee and speak their voice. And I think that we are strong enough as people to drown them out and to keep our agenda above theirs. And I don't think that we should cut people out if they want to be a part of our group. The more diversity we have, the better we are as a group, and the more numbers we have, the stronger we are. And so I think that I vote to pass this.
Okay.
And don't leave.
All right, Lynn, hold on. Charlez asked a while ago. I'm going to go Charlez, then I'm going to go Dana, because, you know, we're ignoring the top of the chairs up here, so let's go ahead and let these people speak.
My voice is often heard, but it's okay. I've heard a lot, and I have to admit I'm a little bit torn on this, and some of the things that are affecting my decision I'll have to make is the one thing that does actually fear me. Nothing fears me. One of the things that actually scares me is the thought that Lynn House brought forward, is that we notice the possible changes in the Constitution and stuff in 30 days, and 2 days before the actual convention, people could come in and begin to vote on those changes that were noticed. Whereas if we kept the rule, they wouldn't know what those changes, potentially wouldn't know what those changes were until after they already had to. So there's that potential gig there. However, another thing that Joe Luke said is we don't know them, and that does bother me. Part of what I have really said over and over and over, especially in like the candidate selection process, is that the local affiliates, we have to trust them to know who their people are before we ever say anything about it. And it's the same thing here. How would you vote for somebody you just met? You don't know. And so there could be an issue there. But I did want to point out to Mr. Kinwilly, the Hordes won. No matter how many roadblocks they put up, no matter how many legions they threw at them, the Hordes won. So I don't know if that really sways me much. And I think this one is the one that ultimately really sways me on the fear thing, is we don't pose a threat to those parties yet. They don't have a big motive to come in here and take us over. And so in that respect, I kind of don't worry about it too much, and I'll tell you why. There's really the trump card to the whole thing, and I'll tell you that in just a second. I do want to acknowledge that even if we did keep the rule, you can work locally. That's true. I want to speak to your point about the inequality. Yeah, it's sort of like the gay marriage thing. You know, any man can marry a woman. we treat everybody the same. That's what the people who oppose gay marriage say. And so I think Jared is right. Not all libertarians are equal. Those that just started today are not equal to those that started before the 60 days. So I think that's a big point to me. Finally, the thing that really just throws me over the top, and I think I just made my decision while I'm talking here that I will support this amendment, is that the state of Florida has a 365-day rule. If you wanted to come in here and take over and run as a libertarian, you can't until next year, and there's another convention between us and them where we can undo that damage.
Just a point of personal privilege at this point, I don't think I've ever heard anybody speak against an amendment and then say he's supporting it at the end of it. That dude probably changed minds on people to say no, and he said yes at the end. All right, we're gonna go with Dana, then I'll go. I'm gonna go to Dana, then I'm gonna go to people who haven't spoke yet though, because some people are doing it multiple times. All the way in the back next. So, but Dana first.
Okay, 2 years ago, whenever I came to this convention, I had just joined the Libertarian Party, probably 6 months prior to convention. I decided to run for chair against Charlotte about 70 days before the convention. I then realized I need to register as a Libertarian voter, so I went and did it. But you know what? I probably put my registration in 61 days before the deadline. If I really wanted to come in and take over this place with a bunch of people, I could have done it then. I could have went and had a bunch of people change their registration then. There's no one, if someone wants to like overthrow the party and have a coup, they're probably planning it more than 60 days before the convention. I can go and gather all these people, and but to your point about they don't know me, no, hardly anybody knew me. But that's why I came to convention, to let them know me. I got to speak about what I wanted to do as chair, and I was elected. And I don't think I came in and took over the party in a bad way. I think it was, I went out and recruited more people, and if I wanted to have done that those 5 days before the 60-day thing, I could have went out and done it. So I don't think that this, the 60 days doesn't stop some overthrowing of the party. It's not, I don't think that that's the time limit.
Okay. All the
questions.
All right.
Point of information.
I think I have to do the call the question first, because somebody called the question.
Second.
All right, it has been second. All right, so the question has been called, it has been seconded. All those in favor of ending discussion to be able to vote on it, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, well, the ayes have it on that one, guys, I'm just saying. Now, yes, sir. Because I can entertain this before the vote, right?
A point of information?
A point of information, right?
Yeah, because we're back to discussion on the main motion.
Well, no, we've called the question.
We're not called the question, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right.
But he
So, a point of information, only a point of order at this point.
Only a point of order? Is it a point of order or a point of information?
If it's not about procedures, then it's something else.
If it's not about procedures, it's something else then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That would technically
They got, I heard that before you. All right, so we're now going to call, we've called the question, so we are now going to vote on this. Now, just to make sure that I understand, it takes 50% or 2/3?
2/3.
This is a 2/3 deal.
This is the bylaws?
No.
No, we already called the question, they already passed. This is a bylaw change.
It's majority.
Oh, it's majority, simple majority.
Simple majority.
All right, simple majority.
Bylaws.
So all those in favor,
Does that match what you're expecting?
I thought on a bylaws change it was 2/3.
I looked it up earlier, I will look it up again, and if you want to.
All right, while he's looking it up, Jared Gaffoni,
Can we read the amendment?
please reread the amendment so everyone has a full understanding as to what we're voting on. Sir.
I concede, it's majority.
Again,
Yeah.
Article 4, Section 3A of the bylaws.
I looked it up just for.
I'll read the full Section A incorporating the potential change. Delegates shall be members as prescribed in Article 2 of the Constitution on the day of commencement of the annual business meeting. And a delegate must be a registered Libertarian Party of Florida voter in the state of Florida, or have submitted a new voter registration or party change form to become a valid registered LPF voter to the secretary, the LPF secretary, prior to the start of the annual business meeting. Delegate status may be denied by a 2/3 majority vote of the executive committee if a potential delegate has been found to have violated the non-aggression principle, which I think would be fraud, by the way, if someone came in to take over the parties.
Yes. All right, now, does everyone have a full understanding as to what we're voting on?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor,
Roll call vote, please.
Very well.
okay, we will do this via a roll call vote. Now, can we, hold on, can we do it,
Correct.
simple majority, can we do, Elsa, will you accept it if we do it with just people standing up? Roll call was where Charlotte does it name by name. Doing it where we can stand up is where people just stand up. Are you okay with that?
I'd like to see a roll call vote, please.
Okay, there you
I
go.
don't love you anymore.
All right, we're gonna do it via roll call vote. So please,
Give me just a minute. Give me a minute to get this taken care of. I'll get just a minute.
And we did confirm it is a simple majority?
we have confirmed it is a simple majority. Can't believe you guys pull this crap when I gotta stand up here. I can't say nothing about any of this.
Blame Dana, she's late. You had to take over.
I just like, I can't even believe it, and I woke up and looked at the clock and was like,
Did you get some good sleep?
oh my gosh, yeah, that's the first time. I just went to vote.
All right, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Hang on. All right, let's go. We're going. We're roll calling this. Hey, are you guys are.
I'm waiting, I just need you to hurry up.
All right.
All right, let's name them.
Adele Blackman.
That, okay, I need.
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah. Greg Bowen.
Yay.
Charlotte.
Yes.
James Bergowitz not here.
Oh, no.
Philippe.
Yay.
Brian Cole.
Yay.
William Copps.
Nay.
Brian Kraft.
Yay.
Richard Creamer.
Yay.
Dana.
Yay.
Christopher Dillard. Dawn Dorellis.
Yay.
Steve Edmonds.
Yes.
Robert Enright.
Yay.
Stephanie Fabian.
Yes.
Philip Garris. Ed Giglari. Suzanne Gilmore.
Nay.
Amanda Gluck.
Abstain.
Larry Go. Jared Gaffoni.
Yay.
Michael Hamlin.
Aye.
Christine Hanlon.
Yes.
Vincent Hanna. Sally Hayes.
Yes.
Gabe Higgins.
Yay.
Michael Higgs. Jeffrey Hindmarsh. Lynn House.
No.
Chuck House. No. Joseph Jacobs.
Yes.
He's not here.
Okay, thank God. James Jensen.
Nay.
Pamela Jensen.
Abstain.
Jared Jones.
Yes.
Patrick Kurt. Vicky Kirkland.
No.
Joshua Kaczynski. Kaczynski. Sorry, dude. David Levitt.
Yay.
George Leibowitz.
Aye.
James Leggett.
Yes.
Sylvia Leggett.
Yes.
Bart Lifton.
Nay.
Robert Lott. Marcus Barrero.
Yay.
Elsa. He said nay.
Yay.
Oh, you said yay. Sorry. Elsa Martinez.
Yes.
Charles McBreedy.
Yes.
Amy Meek. Donald Menzel.
Yes.
Ken Minton. Marcos, he's gone. Richard Molnick. Anna Morris.
Was there an answer for Rich?
Rich, what'd you say?
Yes.
Okay.
He abstained.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, got it.
All right. Anna Morris.
Yes.
James Morris.
Yes.
Joel Mountain.
Yes.
Stephen Nakala. Carolina Ozenberg.
Yes.
Kevin O'Neill.
Yes.
James Ray.
Yes.
Thomas Wright. Not here. Nick Rizzo. Not here. Greg Rowe. Not here. Ron Rollins.
Yes.
Omar.
Abstain.
Bethany.
Yes.
Sammy Salem.
Yay.
Robert
Saviola.
Saviola. Schnackenberg.
Yes.
Not here. Stacy Selleck.
Yes. I don't know. Yes.
Do you want to abstain?
Tough one.
You have abstained.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, okay.
There you go. Anthony Sellers.
No.
Sharon Smith. I'm back to chair. I can't vote on it.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh.
Patricia Snicker.
Yes.
Beverly Stephen. Martin Sullivan.
Abstain.
Deanna.
Yes.
David Taylor. Jean-Luc.
Abstain.
Kevin Thompson.
Yes.
Crystal Turner.
Yay.
Yay. Christopher Vasquez.
No.
Joanne Vaccarino.
Yay.
Mike Vaccarino. Edwin Ragnar. Dean Watson. Tracy Wells. Joseph Went.
Nay.
Ken Willie.
Nay.
Bill Wolsifer. Beatrix Wood.
Yes.
Russ Wood.
Yes.
Matt Worley.
Yes.
Adrian Wiley.
No.
All right, count them up.
I don't know, I, someone,
Hey, you like that? I like that. I like that. You want the number, sir?
All right, we have the vote totals. In support was 48. I can't see it.
Hang on, go ahead.
In support.
46.
Oh, in support 46, in opposition 15, abstain 6, and it passes, right? Motion passes. All right. I'm gonna take a moment of personal privilege at this point. As the chair, I wasn't allowed to speak on this one, and I waited until the end, but I do want to make a statement about this. I understand what Lynn was saying, and I respect what Lynn was saying. And this is for everyone that's in this room. What some people are saying about having a fear and that they ain't worried about us until we get bigger is something that we should be in consideration of. However, they could take us over after 60 days or whatever. So I agree with, I would have voted yes on it for Jared. But just as a reminder, that means we're here to protect it. That's our responsibility. We are all responsible to protect it. And the best way to do that is to grow the crap out of it. That's how we do it. Again, moment of personal privilege, and I went ahead and took on that part. But it did pass, so, and again, guys, a lot of people on this were very passionate about this issue. There was a lot of arguing that was going on back and forth here. But at the end of the day, the people that were arguing for it are doing it because they want to grow the party. But everybody has a responsibility to protect the party. So Lynn's concern, and other people's concern, it wasn't just Lynn's concern, but other people's concern, there's a valid concern there. We just got to make sure we do our jobs, because don't prove Lynn right, because she will never not tell us that she was right on that. All right, that motion is done. Is there any, one thing, we said this last year, and the new EC is going to be coming there. They take charge after this meeting. We have the following committees in the Libertarian Party of Florida. You have the Membership Committee. You have the Rules Committee. You have the Platform Committee. You have the Communications Committee. You have the Convention Committee. You have the Candidates Committee. You have the Selection Committee. Is there any other one I'm missing? We might have missed another one. There might be like events. Events is still considered that. Okay. We have those committees within the LPF. We need people that are willing to do work on those committees. Those are the committees that actually do work within the party, by the way. The EC votes on stuff. The committees are the ones that are doing the work. If you want to get involved, please either talk to Adrian Wiley, who is now will be the chair after I'm done. You ain't the chair yet, son, so just calm down. Or Lynn House, because as the vice chair, she is also now an ex officio on every one of the committees. So you have those two positions, those two people, contact them. Please get involved, please.
Yes.
I would like to request that you call the new regional reps forward, because we have some stuff we need to do before they leave.
Okay.
Could you call them?
Okay.
If you can read that, crowd?
Well, some of them ain't here, though.
Well, if they're not here, then
All right.
they'll be not here.
I'm going to go down the list here of all the regional reps. If you are here in attendance before we finish,
Yeah.
there's some people raising their hands. Let me do this list first, and then I'm going to get to the hands.
It has to do with that.
It has to do with the hand. Okay, somebody bring it up to me then.
Should I bring it up?
Is it something that you can say aloud, or is it something that you shouldn't say aloud?
Absolutely. It's a difficult situation, because I don't know how how the rules circumscribe it. But
To my knowledge, the only member of Region 11 that was here, is it Region 11?
Region 11.
Is that correct? Elaine Kedrick had to leave a little early. She expressed a desire to elect a regional rep.
Did you have a name in mind?
She did, Suzanne Gilmore.
Okay.
I am from Region 11,
Oh,
and I am
didn't
okay
realize-
with this.
Wait, point of order.
But
Only
the
the
procedure
vote.
now is for the EC to nominate, correct?
Yeah, at this point.
It has to be,
It's
it
too
has
late
to be by the
Yeah.
chair, approved by the chair, and then, or nominated by the chair and approved by the EC.
Correct.
And I explained that to Elaine, but she didn't get back to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I apologize. I thought that it had been done correctly during the business meeting and could be recognized. I defer to your judgment.
I will defer to Wiley. Hold on. Before I get to this, I will ask in the back, Joshua.
I just wanted to get clarification. Bylaws motion 1, where we're going to be splitting 50 with the state party and 50 with the delegates. I remember we had a tabled motion on that from the gentleman from Collier County. Did we ever get a vote on that?
We did.
We did get a vote.
The 50-40-10 amendment was approved.
Okay.
And became part of the main motion, which was also approved. So the split is 50-40-10.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
And to speak to the issue of Region 11, at the close of the caucuses, that's when the delegates present those officers. If there's no regional rep selected at that time, it is a vacancy, and then we have to go through the process of appointment and EC approval. So, of course, you know, we'll take recommendations from Region 11, we'll take that as one at this point, and, you know, kind of reopen it up to nominations again, so.
Adele, you're recognized.
During EC business.
I have a question, Adele Black in Knowles County. I have never been in a group in my life that didn't have an invocation and a pledge to the flag. Is there a reason why the Libertarian Party doesn't do that?
Take that offline?
Somebody take that offline and explain it to Adele. Adrian, would you explain it to Adele?
I will, after the meeting.
All right, thank you. All right, now, let me,
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
Move to adjourn.
I gotta do this list first, man. Can I do the list first, man? I'm trying to get to the damn list. Stop raising your hands, people! All right, here we go. Region 1, Pete Bloom. Region 2, Open. Region 3, Bill Wolsifer. Region 4, Crystal Turner. Region 5, Ken Willie. Region 6, Michael Hamlin. Region 7, Vicki Kirkland. Region 8, John Pierce.
J.D. Pierce.
J.D. Pierce. It says John here. Somebody wrote John. Number 9, George Leibowitz. Number 10, Denise Smith. Number 11, currently open. Number 12, Don. Don?
Don Jones.
Okay, sorry, Don. You can't write for nothing, Charles. You're a secretary, man. Region 13, Carl Dickey. Dr. Secretary, you did right. Region 14, Stephen Nakala. That is it.
Please come forward.
Please, all those people after the meeting, please come forward. You have made a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second? All right, all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Get the hell out of here. We're adjourned.
Good job, Mr. Former Vice Chair. That's excellent. You did a great job.